It is me, Young Pasty, and I am here today to give you a pick and a prediction for every single fight on the card for UFC Paris. Look what I'm rocking today. Yeah, the White Boy Wonder Young Pasty shirt. Shout out to Magnolia Co. Magnolia_Co on Instagram for hooking me up with the t-shirt. Yeah, I'm super excited for this card here. UFC Paris. A lot of French people fighting on the card. Nassourdine, Benoit Saint-Denis, William Gomis, Oumar, Axel, Sola. So there's 5. The Faris Ziam versus Caio Fernandez fight, which was going to be a good fight, is off because Ziam's grandma passed away. So RIP to Ziam's grandma. But there's 5 French fighters on the card here. And every time there's a French fighter here in this predictions video, if I pick that French fighter, we're going to rock the beret. Okay? We're going to take it off here for now. All right. Got my regular hat on now. Let's recap last week. UFC Shanghai. Actually, 2 weeks ago now. Pulling the results up here right now. We went 6-6 on the picks. Some wild stuff happened early in the morning. Okay? Let's be honest. I think Chow Long got robbed. The fall down of Michel Pereira needs to be studied, right? Like, these losses are crazy. Now losing to a Kyle Dalkas. Come on now. Lanier Kavanagh got taught a vet lesson from Charles Johnson here. Kevin Borralho got teed up at range. Waldar Cortez couldn't make it up to that next level. And then Zhang Mingyang super let down. But on the flip side here, some of my good calls. Uran Sadi Bidov. Nurgaje has no ground game, right? We saw that. Yiza, came through with heat. We all knew that. Rong Zhu saw a win. Gage Young saw a win. Talaki got lucky with that DQ knee. It should have been a DQ, but Kiefer Crosby's a tough guy. And then Aljamain. Beating Brian Ortega with weight issues. But it was just a weird week with UFC Shanghai. 6-6 on the picks. I can say at least we didn't go negative on the picks, right? But let's move some good energy into this week for UFC Paris. Okay? With the main event here, we have Nassourdine Imavov, the sniper, versus Caio Borralho, the natural. Odds on the fight here, plus 110 for Nassourdine, minus 135 for Caio Borralho. We got another Frenchman. Not another Frenchman, our first Frenchman. Am I going to put this beret on? Am I going to do it, guys? No. Put this shit to the side. You know what I'm going to put on? Yeah. The Fighting Nerds glasses, because we're picking Caio Borralho, the leader of the Fighting Nerds, the supposed leader. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. I think he's the leader of them. Going up against Nassourdine Imavov, I think Caio Borralho wins this fight by just dancing around the octagon and landing the better shots. I think this is going to be kind of a boring fight. I think it goes distance. I think it goes all 5 rounds. Both of them have 5-round cardio. We've seen it. Now, Nassourdine, he's a cheater. He's in France, in his hometown. Yes, he's a cheater. He cheats in all his fights. Look at it. He's grabbing fences, poking eyes, kicking people in the nuts. Always. He'll probably do it in this fight too. I'm just saying. But on the flip side, Nassourdine's fighting better competition than Caio. Like, if you run back their past 5 fights, Nassourdine's fighting a lot better people, especially coming off a win versus Izzy, right? Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier, Roman Dolidze. These are solid wins, right? On the other hand, on the flip side, Caio, he's beaten Jared Cannonier, Paul Craig, Abus, Michael Olachechuk, Makhmud Muradov. Like, I don't know, I got to give the competition edge to Nassourdine Imavov. But I think, again, Caio Borralho wins this fight by dancing around the octagon and hitting the better shots. I think he just needs to avoid the grappling and clinch situations with Nassourdine. Even though, Caio is a good grappler, right? BJJ expert, right? I just don't think he's going to be able to take down Nassourdine Imavov. I don't, right? Nassourdine Imavov has great takedown defense. None of these people were taking him down at all. And the people that did, he was able to get back up pretty solid and easy. So I don't really have any concerns with Nassourdine Imavov's grappling or takedown defense at all. I think it's going to be a striking battle. Now, Imavov definitely has more power in his hands. I think he's probably the better striker, but it's just this constant movement from Caio, which Caio has great cardio. He'll be able to do that for all 5 rounds. And Nassourdine's going to be pressuring him, and Caio's just going to be running around the octagon, hitting the better shots and avoiding the shots that Imavov throws his way. So it's a matchup of high-level fighters. And I just think it's going to be a little bit boring to watch. I think it's going to be like, for those hardcore MMA fans, right? You're going to be loving this fight because it's a battle of the best. And, whoever loses this fight is out of the title shot, contention for the time being. So, there's a lot of stakes on the line here. I'm picking Caio Borralho to come in on enemy turf, beat Nassourdine Imavov by decision. So, Caio Borralho, one of the fighting nerds, the leader of the fighting nerds, going to take this win by decision over Nassourdine Imavov. A boring striking battle, but he'll get the job done. So that's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, our next fight, the co-main event of the evening. This is a good one, guys. Another fighting nerd, another Frenchman. We have Benoit Saint-Denis, the god of war, versus Mauricio Ruffy. One shot. Odds on the fight here, plus 165 for BSD, minus 200 for Mauricio Ruffy. Am I going to bring out the beret here? Am I going to put this little sucker on? No, we're not doing it. We're putting on the Fighting Nerds glasses again, guys. We're picking Mauricio Ruffy. Okay? I love my Brazilians around here. Ruffy coming off that great KO head kick versus Bobby Green. That shit was nasty. Now, BSD did get a win, but it was versus Kyle Prepolek, who, took that fight on short notice and really, he needed a win, but, you're a ranked fighter. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be fighting scrubs there like that. Really, I kind of don't even take that win into consideration at all. It's just more of I don't know. It took him a while to kind of get that submission, too. Losing to Renato Moicano, losing to Dustin Poirier, some bad looks there. The rise and fall of BSD. I think he's going to get a loss here versus my boy Mauricio Ruffy. Going to be a little bit longer, a little bit taller. He's definitely, he's like a high-level striker. Also has a BJJ black belt, too. Obviously he's fighting with the fighting nerds. He's one of the elite fighting nerds, okay? Him, John Silva, Carlos Prates, Caio. They're the top 4, right? Okay, he's up there. The stats don't show it, but he's probably going to be taller and longer. He's got this, bouncy kind of movement. He's good on the outside. He's probably going to be on the back foot from BSD, but I don't mind that. His distance striking is nice. His movement and fluidity in the octagon, man, he just looks like he's just smooth out there. It's just comes natural to him, right? The striking is nice. And he has power behind everything. Flashy. It's flashy stuff, too. On the flip side, BSD's tough. He had rough outings, versus in those 2 losses he had versus Poirier and Moicano. Got a layup last time. And he was ducking fights, by the way. Okay? There were people that wanted to step in and fight him, and he wasn't having it. So just, by the way, he was ducking fights, wanted an easy fight. But, he's a former military guy. He's a killer. He's tough as shit, right? In that fight versus Moicano, his eye was super busted up. And he was out there keep going and going and going. Tide was kind of turning in his way because Moicano just let it all out, right? But Poirier finished him. You know what I mean? So he's a powerful striker. His ground game is not really elite, but he does have submission threats. BSD will be hit. He can get hit, and he will get hit a lot. There's just some shots that come through, they just don't shut him down, right? For him to win this fight, should use his wrestling, fighting at range with Ruffy is a terrible idea. He needs to clinch up and hold on to him at some point. He does have KO power and stunning shots. I just think he's going to miss them all, right? And he has very little head movement. BSD does. And Mauricio Ruffy, I think he's just going to tee up on this guy. And once his shots start landing, BSD is going to be the one on the back foot. And if BSD is the one on the back foot, Mauricio Ruffy is going to take over at that point. He's probably going to pin him up against the cage and just go up at it. So, man, can BSD last? I don't think so, man. Mauricio Ruffy by KO. That's my official pick for this fight. I think all 4 of them boys are going to go over there, right? We have Caio and Mauricio Ruffy. You're telling me John Silva and fucking who's the other one? Already forgetting. Carlos Prates aren't going to be over there. No, they're going to be over there supporting their boys, and they're going to be yelling and screaming, and we're going to see the fighting nerds come through 2 for 2 and beat the Frenchman in enemy turf. So Mauricio Ruffy by KO. That's my official pick for the co-main event. Let's go. All right, next fight. And before I break this one down, please, if you guys are new or if you have not, click that subscribe button. We are on the road to 400 subscribers. I would appreciate it if you guys click that button for me. Thank you. Now, we have Bolaji Oki, the Zulu Warrior, versus Mason Jones, the Dragon. Odds on the fight here, plus 130 for Bolaji Oki and minus 160 for Mason Jones. My pick for this fight is going to be Bolaji Oki. I'm going with the underdog here. I'm going with the striker, the power puncher. Is he overhyped? A little bit. But now we get to see him as an underdog. And I'm actually a little surprised by the odds. I didn't think Mason Jones was going to be a favorite here. Bolaji Oki, man, got a nice heavy jab, nice heavy leg kicks. Uses lots of feints and fakes. Usually is the pressuring fighter, but at times he can be caught looking and a little bit hesitant at times. So that's something I don't like. He has 3-round cardio. He showed that in the last fight. What I don't like, he eats a lot of kicks. He needs to check those. Mason Jones, though, not really a guy who's throwing out tons of kicks. More of a puncher. But anywho, he could throw in some heavy kicks that, again, it's like Oki's eating all these kicks. He really just needs to check them because he could get his legs chalked up. Now, his ground game, like, it's all right. It's meh. It's meh, in my opinion. It's raw. Like, he really just needs to stay on his feet. Like, he does have offensive kind of like wrestling, but it's just not something that he really needs to go to, right? I would say, though, on the Mason Jones side, the submissions are live, right? And let's move over to Mason Jones and why I like him. Not why I like him, but I mean, there are a lot of good features to Mason Jones. But ultimately, at the end of the day, why I picked Bolaji Oki is because of the power punching, the volume. And he uses a lot of these feints and fakes that I think Mason Jones are going to get tripped up on. But again, Mason Jones, this is his second stint in the UFC, which his first stint really wasn't too awful if you look back at it. Second fight here now in the UFC, coming off a win versus Jeremy Stephens, and it was a nice little fun fight to watch, right? Former Cage Warriors guy who did some work over there. He loves to brawl, Mason Jones does. Loves to brawl, get into these situations that are, not really the best for him. He can still land in these situations, and he does, but not really the best because he kind of gets pieced up, at some points in them too. Like, his boxing is pretty decent at range. Nice little jab and mixes in body shots. He's a little like unorthodox at times, right? Like little like weird things that are out of the ordinary you would not see happening, right? A little DDP-esque. But he's a decent fighter. He beat Onama in his first stint, which looking back is a pretty solid win. He just doesn't use his grappling and his wrestling, which if he did in earlier, right? He'd start using in like the third round. He needs to use it earlier. Because if he did, it would help him out a lot. And I think it would but suit him well in this fight to wrestle and grapple early. He's good in the clinch and on the fence as well. And he throws out lots of volume, and his cardio is pretty decent too. Mason Jones is a pretty good fighter. I just think seeing Bolaji Oki at an underdog, and again, like, is he overhyped? Yeah, I think he is a little bit, but I think he has enough in him to beat a Mason Jones. So I'm gonna roll with Bolaji. Roll with Bolaji. Oh my gosh. Bolaji Oki is my pick for this fight. I got him by decision. All right, our next fight on the main card, we have Modestas Bukauskas. Yeah, our boy's back. The Baltic Gladiator versus Paul Craig, the Bear Jew. Odds in the fight, minus 330 for Modestas and plus 260 for Paul Craig. My pick for this fight is going to be Modestas Bukauskas. Dude's been improving every single fight. I'm becoming a fan of Bukauskas, and his second stint in the UFC is much better than his first one. Okay? Again, getting better every single fight. He's just showing strides and improvements. And now I anticipated and predicted that he would be fighting Jamal Hill. I thought that would have been a great fight, but he gets Paul Craig, which is an easier fight, but kind of not really in a sense, because Paul Craig's a jiu-jitsu ace, man. Like, Paul Craig's last fight versus Bolaji was very weird. He did do an illegal strike, which honestly, in my opinion, should have been a DQ, but anywho. It's just a different test than a Jamal Hill, right? But I got Bukauskas is nice, man. Decent movement. He will probably be on the back foot versus Paul Craig, unless he, kind of hurts Paul Craig and gets him up and pins him up against the fence. He's gonna be bigger and longer, like way bigger and longer versus Paul Craig. If Bukauskas does pin Paul Craig up against the fence, he does great work on the fence. Good knees, nice kicks, good elbows. Striking's good and good from distance too. Like, I don't know, like, he just seems to get better and better every single fight, like in all aspects of fighting. Now, this is what it really came down to, right? If Boverated Nickel, Mr. Bo Nickel, can beat Paul Craig in like a kickboxing match, then I think Modestas Bukauskas can. If Modestas Bukauskas can avoid the grappling situations and avoid the submissions, which, again, Paul Craig is a jiu-jitsu ace. He loves those kind of grappling and clinching situations to get people on the ground or try and grab something to make you tap. If he can avoid those situations, Bukauskas has this with ease, and that's why the odds are so big, because Paul Craig has shown he can't really keep up with kickboxing and just striking, right? And you're going up against a guy who's surging in Bukauskas. So, yeah, I got Modestas Bukauskas. I'm pretty confident in this pick here. Again, he just needs to avoid the grappling situations from Paul Craig. Like, Paul Craig's chinny at this point. He's okay at striking. He's going in there making money. So, shout out to him. He just needs, like, his path to submission is a lucky punch or a submission. Honestly, that's Paul Craig's path to victory. And Bukauskas, I think, avoids both of those. So, Bukauskas by decision or late finish. That's my official pick for this fight. All right, our next fight. This is going to be a good one here. I'm actually excited for it. A short notice fight, too. We have Patricio Pitbull versus Losene Keita. Odds on the fight, plus 165. Minus 200 for Losene Keita. My pick for this fight, man, I'm going with Patricio Pitbull. My dude looked good last time, okay? And props to Pitbull here, okay? This is third time in the octagon in the last 5 months, so is it too quick of a turnaround? I don't think so, because he did it last time and looked damn good. So this is a short notice fight, though, so I will give you that. Now, Pitbull is a former Bellator fighter, now UFC fighter, okay? He's moved over into the UFC land of fighters. Now, Losene Keita is a former Octagon fighter. This is his UFC debut over here in Paris. And I'm going to apply the same Bellator method that I've done in all my other fights, okay? And that is, you're making your UFC debut from a different organization. No, the UFC don't want you to win. I'm going with the other guy. And we just saw this in the last month here with Lerone Murphy, okay? Like, a former Bellator guy coming over, boom. Aaron Pico gets rocked, spinning back elbow. So, now I don't think Pitbull's going to get that done in this fashion, right? I think he gets it done by a tough decision, okay? He's tough. He's older. I mean, he does have cardio to go 5 rounds. I think he's learned that, he needs to step up the pace quicker in these fights, and he did that and showed that in this last fight versus Dan Ige. He's kind of been known to be a little bit of a slow starter, but again, he's been working on it. I see him doing that. So, heavy kicks, mostly a striker, has decent power, lots of volume and aggression in the last fight, which I liked. Has crazy submissions he can pull off if he gets you to the ground. Losene Keita here, I mean, the story is, and why he's a favorite, right? He's longer, he's quicker, he's younger, he's probably a little bit stronger too. But he's gonna be moving down in weight. Like, he has fought at 145 before, but just something, it's just something to check. Like, check the weight cut right here. Like, Losene Keita hasn't been fighting at 145 recently. He's been fighting at 155. So, just something to look at. But Keita, he's not like the most technical kind of striker. He's wild. He throws some wild punches and strikes. But if he hits you with something that hurts you just a little bit, like he smells blood in the water. Like he will pounce like a damn tiger on you. So I think it's going to be a fun fight. I think he's going to probably be pressuring Pitbull, but Pitbull is going to come in with some nice counters. And loving the entries from Keita. Now, if he gets him up against the fence, that may be an issue for Pitbull. He needs to get out of that situation. He really needs to not get teed up at distance. And if he does, come in with these counters, right? But I just think the experience that Pitbull has and the point he's at in his career, I think he can get it done and gets a win over a Keita like this in his UFC debut. You're fighting over an octagon, right? And not to really crap on the people over there, right? But these are not the best fighters in the world over here. Yeah, they have records, but they're kind of like powder records over there. So UFC experience, Bellator experience, I favor that over octagon experience. And yeah, Pitbull's a little bit older, but he still has it in his career. He's just coming off a win over a younger Dan Ige. All right, next fight. All right, we got a Frenchman here, okay, guys? We have William Gomis, the Jaguar, versus Robert Ruchala. Odds on the fight -230 for William Gomis and +185 for Robert Ruchala. My pick for this fight is going to be putting the beret on, okay? Give me William Gomis. Give me the Jaguar, okay? Finally get to put the beret on here today. This is the split decision machine, okay? This is like the French version of freaking Austin Hubbard, but on the other side of things, right? He's actually getting wins here. Now, I do believe he got robbed last time in that fight versus Hyder Emil, but we're back here on home turf. And if we get a split decision, I think it's going to go the Frenchman's way, okay? He is a long, lanky striker, loves to fight from range and at distance. I love his front kicks. William Gomis does really good work at range. Decent work in holding people on the fence, too. We've seen it in all his fights. If he does get people on the fence, he can hold them there and, not necessarily get some damage in, but at least get some control time on the fence. To keep people at bay if he gets rocked or just wants to, I don't know, sometimes he just likes to clinch people up on the fence and get some control time. Maybe he's resting there because he does a lot of dancing around the octagon. I see Robert Ruchala, this Polish guy, putting on the pressure here and stepping on the gas pedal and putting William Gomis on the back foot. But William Gomis don't mind that, okay? And honestly, I think his movement around the octagon is going to give troubles for Robert Ruchala. And Robert Ruchala, who the fuck is this guy? He's a former KSW champ, 2 fights a year. This is his UFC debut here. He's a tough Polish fighter, right? He's aggressive. He's constantly pressuring, but he's a little bit reckless, and he gets hit with counters pretty easy. And William Gomis' ability to dance around the octagon, might give Robert Ruchala troubles. I see Robert Ruchala missing a lot of shots and coming in with stupid shots and getting hit with counters from William Gomis. Dang, KO is kind of sniffing my way here. William Gomis, that is definitely live on the William Gomis side. But something to note is that William Gomis has trouble with people that set the pace and put pressure on him. And also if he gets taken down, he can kind of get body on the mat. And Robert Ruchala is, again, pretty physical and aggressive. He has strong takedowns. He has a decent ground game. And if he gets you taken down, right, he will beat you up, right? He is nasty on the ground, okay? He is nasty on the ground. Let's just say that. He just pours on the volume. But a couple things I don't like about Robert Ruchala is his aggression kind of gets the best of him. It leaves his head out there. I think this is going to be too tough for him to overcome here. Okay, his aggressiveness and recklessness is going to get the best of him. He's over here in enemy territory in Frenchman land. The crowd and the momentum and everyone's going to be on William Gomis' side. Especially, Gomis wants that back after coming off that stupid robbery. Okay. And Robert Ruchala will put up a good fight. But I see that William Gomis has probably the cardio edge, has much more UFC experience, fighting better people. I think he gets it done. William Gomis, fuck it, by KO. I think it's going to be a late KO, or maybe even second round. I think Robert Ruchala is going to be stupid coming in, and his aggressiveness is going to get the best of him. So, William Gomis by KO. That is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight. We got another Frenchman here. We have Oumar Sy versus Brendson Riberio, the Gorilla. Odds in the fight -400 for Oumar Sy and +310 for Brendson Riberio. My pick for this fight is going to be Oumar Sy. Give me this beret again. Give me this damn beret again. Okay, we're going with another Frenchman here. We're going with Mr. Parlay Killer himself. We're going with Mr. Got fraud checked by Mr. Menefield last time. Like, this guy has left a very bad taste in my mouth. He's supposed to be a great wrestler with good top control. He's supposed to have good submissions. He's supposed to win this fight here versus Brendson Riberio, but will he? Now, I am picking him to win the fight. Am I going to bet him to win the fight? I don't know, because Brendson Riberio has pulled off some crazy shit here in the past. And, I wouldn't put it past him to win this fight. Now, he's not my favorite fighter, but, I mean, other than the loss to Azamat Murzakanov, which is, he would, fuck up Oumar Sy too, right? He was riding a 2-fight win streak versus Dayar Nurgajai and Caio Machado, okay? He pulled off, rattled off a couple wins, right? I mean, he's a Brazilian fighter. I like these Brazilian fighters here. He has skills. He just doesn't seem to put them together consistently. I do believe Oumar Sy will be able to take Brendson Ribeiro down. I do believe he's going to be able to control him on the ground. I think that he can get a submission or decision win. I think Brendson Ribeiro might get caught in something. The ground and pound might be live too. And with Oumar Sy coming off a loss like that versus Menefield, he wants to get that back, right? He was undefeated. You want to get your first. When you lose, he was undefeated prior to that. When you lose for the first time, you want to get that back, right? So Oumar Sy, I think if this stays on the feet, he will have trouble. Like, if this is a striking match, I think this is Brendson Ribero's game. Keep it on the feet. Don't let Oumar Sy take you down. Brendson Ribeiro ain't very good at getting back up when taken down, okay? And he's actually a little bit chinny. Not actually is, okay? We've seen it. Like, he's just chinny as hell. He can eat shots, but one too many, he's done. So, if Oumar Sy does get a KO, I think it's on the ground by ground and pound. But ultimately, I think he gets the job done by decision or submission. I think he's probably going to come in there and play it a little bit safe. So, Oumar Sy by decision, that's my official call here. Brendson Ribeiro, I mean, again, I wouldn't put it past him that, for him to win this fight. It's very live. I'm not picking him, okay? And I'm also not going to put my money where my mouth is on Oumar Sy either. So take this pick with caution. So, yes, I'm picking the Frenchman here. I got the beret on, but this guy left a bad taste in my mouth last time. So Oumar Sy by decision. That's my official pick. Let's go. All right, next fight. A heavyweight fight and another UFC debut here. We have Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. Walking trouble. Odds in the fight here, -105 for Marcin Tybura, -115 for Ante Delija. My pick for this fight is going to be Marcin Tybura. Give me the old UFC vet here, okay? I'm applying the same method, the Bellator method here. This is a PFL guy making his UFC debut. I'm going to apply the same method here with Marcin Tybura. I think Ante Delija is going to fumble the bag here, okay, making his UFC debut. Marcin Tybura is a vet, has tons of fights. Only loses to the best in the UFC. Yeah, he's 39, but like if you're in heavyweight, you got a little more time on your UFC career than most, okay? I think this is actually going to be a sloppy heavyweight fight. I think Marcin Tybura is going to be able to secure takedowns. I think he's going to be able to hold Ante Delija on the ground. I think he's going to get some nasty ground and pound in. I think the submission may present itself if Delija gets tired. I think his cardio is decent, right? He looked a little leaner in the past, kind of let himself go kind of now. We'll see how he kind of looks at weigh-ins. Not let himself go in a sense like it's tubby and fat, right? But like, he's a little bit, bigger than he was in the past. But I've seen that he can get held in the fence pretty easy. Tybura can hold people on the fence and pretty easily. use that weight and just pin him up against the fence and get some nasty work in with some elbows and striking there and body work too. Ante Delija, again, he has potential. I think he's a good add to the UFC. I think this is kind of like a Buchecha kind of situation here, right? That we saw a few months past. I think Marcin Tybura is the vet. I think that, again, anything can happen in a heavyweight fight. Like, Ante Delija definitely has a chance here, but Tybura as an underdog, the UFC vet, Delija's, coming from PFL. When was his last fight? I guess it was just 4 months ago, but that was not in PFL. That was some different organization after PFL. Actually, his last PFL fight was a loss. It was a KO loss. I could see Marcin Tybura definitely getting a KO, but I ultimately think that Ante Delija is going to bring it the best he can. I think Tybura will, give him not just this too. Look, it's the Bellator method. I'm just going to call it that, okay? Bellator method, okay? Making your UFC debut from a different organization, if you're not really like this extremely crazy, hyped, great person, I'm not going to back you. So, Marcin Tybura is my official pick. I'm taking him by decision. Let's go. All right, next fight. Man, we have another UFC debut here. We have Axel Sola, the Frenchman too. Okay, by the way, another Frenchman. Versus Rhys McKee. Odds on the fight here, minus 140 for Axel Sola, plus 110 for Rhys McKee. This is the last Frenchman on the card. Am I going to pull this beret out? No. I'm picking Rhys McKee. Give me the underdog. Give me the Skeletor. Yeah. Okay? Me and Rhys McKee can relate, okay? Look at that pale white skin and look at mine, okay? We can relate. Anyway, I'm not picking the Frenchman here. This is Axel Sola's UFC debut. I like Rhys McKee has shown, especially in his last fight. Gosh, he looked pretty damn good in that last fight versus Daniel Frunza. And his last two fights, like, he went 3 hard rounds with Chitty and lost it by split decision, by the way. And a tough 3 rounds with Angelusa. He's a former Cage Warriors guy. Axel Sola coming from Eris Fight Club, which, by the way, I looked up Eris Fight Club and all the talent coming out of there, right? There ain't no talent coming out of Eris Fight Club. You know the best fighter to come out of Eris Fight Club? Taylor Lapilus, who got cut by the UFC, okay? So it's not like he's fighting the best competition over there in freaking Eris Fight Club. Anyway, this is a short notice fight for both of these guys, but I'm not going to sit here and poop on Alex Sola. Like, he's all right. And honestly, he has some pretty good wrestling and grappling abilities. If he takes you down, like, he inflicts damage, and it's hard to get up. And Rhys McKee, I feel like he's the kind of guy to accept bottom position if taken down, definitely. So, but Axel Sola ain't the sub-hunter kind of guy, right? He's more of a control guy. Like, that's what he's doing. And he will probably lean heavy on the grappling because Rhys is the better striker, and I think that will show by leaps and bounds here. And Rhys McKee has power behind his shots too. He's got good head movement. He has good boxing, good counters, nice straight, good jab. He's gonna be taller, longer, and bigger than Axel. Axel may have man. I don't even know if Axel's gonna be quicker than him, to be honest with you. I think Rhys McKee's probably gonna be quicker than him too. Throws out some nice kicks, good volume, nice knees, good on the fence too. Axel Sola, like, this is his UFC debut. I'm applying the Bellator method here. And gosh, it's an Eris Fight Club. He's also undefeated, okay, in 2025. So not only am I applying the Bellator method, I'm also applying the 2025 undefeated record method. Like, this is a double whammy for you, Axel Sola. I cannot pick you here. I'm picking Rhys McKee. Okay, I'm picking Rhys McKee, the underdog, to come through and win this fight. I think he adds another win to his column. I think he avoids any sort of takedowns. I think he gets the better shots in. KO's live. KO's live because Axel Sola's hittable. And he's a little bit chinny too. I'm not going to lie. So, Rhys McKee. Fuck it. Rhys McKee by KO. That is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight. We have Sam Patterson, the future, versus Trey Waters, the truth. The future versus the truth. Odds on the fight here, minus 160 for Sam Patterson, plus 135 for Trey Waters. My pick for this fight is going to be Sam Patterson. My dude looked like a beast last time. Striking was on point, and man, that shit leveled up. tremendously. Like, his striking looked on point. And going up against a really good boxer in Danny Barlow, knocking out a boxer in Danny Barlow when everyone had submission there, which his submissions are live too, has 3 submission wins in the UFC. Definitely needed to move up to the 170 here because he was not having it or not looking really the best or having success at 155. So I'm glad he moved up to 170 here. And I just think he is more of a complete MMA fighter than Waters. I think he's just going to outclass him. Like, man, Trey Waters' last fight, which was 1 year ago, by the way, was a lot. Like, did he win? Oh, I thought he lost to Billy Ray Goff. He did win against Billy Ray Goff, but he was exhausted in the 3rd round. Like, I don't see Sam Patterson getting exhausted the way Trey Waters was in the 3rd round. Yes, these guys are pouring out tons of volume, right? But Sam Patterson can do that. And I don't think Sam Patterson, given and put in that situation, would look like Trey Waters did. So, and Trey Waters is used to having this kind of tall and long kind of advantage, not over Sam Patterson, man. Sam Patterson's also tall and long too. Trey Waters is a decent boxer, has a long jab, does throw out a lot of volume, but doesn't have a lot of power in his shots. Not on the side of Sam Patterson, man. Sam Patterson throws with intent, and we saw it. And you would think, like, in the stats may show he's a little smaller, but you look, check weigh-ins, man. Look, Sam Patterson is going to be in equal to size as Trey Waters. You'll see it. And Trey Waters, I don't think he has any ground game. This dude got submitted by Bonfim easy. Once he got put on the ground, he tried throwing off some weird gilly that DC was like, oh, he has it. No. Bonfim had the submission. Like, once he gets taken down to the ground, I feel like defensively, like, it may be over for him. So, again, 1 year layoff. I mean, definitely has a puncher's chance for sure. Everyone does in an octagon, right? But I'm going with Sam Patterson. Give me Sam Patterson by decision. And, you know, honestly, for him to get a submission or a KO, maybe inside the distance, that's also something live or something I may be looking at. So, Sam Patterson by decision is my official pick. Let's go. All right, next fight. We have Brad Tavares versus Robert Brychek. Odds in the fight minus 250 for Brad Tavares, plus 200 for Robert Brychek. My pick for this fight is going to be Brad Tavares. Okay, first off, congrats to Brad Tavares. My boy got a new contract here. I'm going to see a new Brad, okay? This dude's a UFC vet who usually wins decisions. Robert Brychek, who the fuck is this guy? Somebody who lost to Ihor Potieria. Terrible look. Former Octagon fighter. And honestly, I should just leave it at that. You lost to Ihor Potieria. How the hell am I supposed to back you? By decision, by the way. Okay? Ihor Potieria taking the round 2 and round 3. After round 1, Robert Brychek looked like a fish out of water. This dude was super gassed, super hittable, gets held on the fence. Like, he's very physical and athletic and strong, yes. But honestly, he misses a lot of shots. The boxing really isn't there. I think Brad Tavares can beat him in that. He can get held on the fence. Brad Tavares loves to hold people on the fence, right? Loves a 3-round decision. Brad Tavares probably won't use the grappling that he has experience in, but he probably will mix some feints in. I'm favoring UFC experience over hype and looks. Like, yes, Robert Brychek has the looks of a UFC fighter. And Brad Tavares, I mean, you would think at this point in his career, he's just probably toast and done. But honestly, these guys are pretty close in age, like 35 and 37. Like, Brad's only 2 years older than him. I think Brad Tavares has a lot better wins in his career. Robert Brychek's first fight in the UFC, you lose. And that's over a year and a half ago. And Brad Tavares is only a minus 250 favorite. Honestly, I thought he'd be a little bit higher. So, man, I'm taking Brad Tavares. I think this is an easy pick. I mean, Robert Brychek may take the first round, if anything. I mean, has he been working on his cardio in the past year and a half? I guess that's enough time to make a difference. But from what I've seen, I didn't see any improvements here in the research I've done here recently. So I'm picking Brad Tavares. I got him by decision. And honestly, he he might be able to find a late 3rd round submission. I think that may be live. Taking Robert Brychek down when he's super tired, finding a fucking arm triangle or arm bar. Pulling off a gilly off a lazy takedown or something. So, again, I got Brad Tavares by decision, but a late 3rd round submission, ooh. Something to think about. So, That's my official pick for the fight. Brad Tavares. Let's go. All right, next fight. And honestly, this is one of the fights I'm super excited for some reason. We have Rinat Fakhretdinov, the Gladiator, versus Andreas Gustafsson. Bane. Odds in the fight plus 105 for Rinat Fakhretdinov and minus 125 for Andreas Gustafsson. My pick for the fight is going to be Andreas Gustafsson. This dude is an idiot, okay? First and foremost. He's aggressive. He's reckless. And he just comes in like a madman and he's stupid. But honestly, it works, okay? I mean, who did he beat last time? Chaos Williams? 2 months ago? Okay. He wants to come in here and get wins in the UFC. And this dude's not technical in any sense whatsoever, okay? He is the most unorthodox fighter. Like, you thought Michael Venom Page was unorthodox. Andreas Gustafsson, you know what his game is? Just come at you and throw you up against the fence and beat you up like a madman against the fence. This guy beat CLD in the amateurs back in the day, okay? He kind of gives me a Bogdan Guskov aggression-esque vibe. So, I like Andreas Gustafsson. I honestly, I thought Chaos Williams was going to crack him. I thought he was going to come in stupid, Andreas Gustafsson, like he does and get hit like, you know, like and create like no, that didn't happen. You know what happened? Same thing that always does. He gets people up against the fence and just goes to work, batters them, beats them up until they give up. This dude loves a brawl, okay? Constant pressure. That. If you're pressuring Gustafsson, hell no, nope. He won't take it. He will just come forward at you, no matter what. Like stupid shots, dude. Like he'll just eat them too. Like he has a chin. Cardio's good too. And like Gustafsson, like he's not afraid to take a punch, and he eats shots to get the fight where he wants to go. And Rinat Fakhretdinov, yes, he's a good striker. He can crack. He's pulled off some bullshit in the past, but he's a little bit chinny. He can get wilted and definitely put on the back foot. Has good counters, but that won't matter because Gustafsson's going to stuff him and smother him. None of his striking abilities are going to matter if he's clinched up and held up against the fence. And I don't think he can stay off the fence. So Andreas Gustafsson by KO. Renat's going to be taken down, dude. Renat's going to give up. Andreas Gustafsson by KO. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight. The last fight I'm breaking down in the first fight of the night. Two ladies going at it. We have Shauna Bannon, Mama B, versus Sam Hughes, Sam Page. God, that's a stupid nickname every time I say it. Odds in the fight plus 240 for Mama B. Minus 300 for Sam Hughes. My pick for the fight is going to be Shauna Bannon. Okay? Give me Shauna Bannon here. This is her toughest test yet. Okay? But you would think, losing to Bruna Brazil here 2 years ago, she's going to lose to Sam Hughes definitely. This is a different test than Bruna Brazil, okay? Sam Hughes is a lot smaller than Shauna Bannon. Now, you'll see on the stats where it's like, the odds, the stats look pretty same. No. You'll see come weigh-ins, Shauna Bannon's going to be a lot, taller and lankier than Sam Hughes. And even though Sam Hughes is a tough little bitch, she's a UFC vet. Her record's subpar, dude. What? She's 10-6, bro. And she pulls off wins as underdogs. She pulls off wins as an underdog, but are we gonna back her here as a minus 300 favorite, bro? I don't know if I can do that. She's experienced in the striking, has grappling, good work on the fence, can get takedowns, and honestly, that's her path to victory. Sam Hughes is to take down Shauna Bannon, hold her up against the fence, and smother the distance. Because Shauna Bannon loves to fight at range. She has that crazy little sidekick she loves to throw out. She needs to be careful with that because Sam might be able to catch that. The boxing and the striking seem to be improving. This is going to be a lot of yelling in the octagon. Okay, guys? These girls, both of them, when they throw a punch, they both scream. So there's going to be a lot of yelling in the octagon. But you know what? I don't know. Shauna Bannon pulled off some crazy stuff last time versus that Indian girl who was Pooja Tomar. Got cracked and was able to come back. Beaten Alice Ardeline, who's a tough kind of opponent, who's similar to Sam Hughes and was honestly a little bit bigger than Shauna Bannon. Now we get to see Shauna Bannon be the little bit bigger of a fighter versus Sam Hughes. Man, I'm backing Shauna Bannon. Give me the Irish girl. Give me Mama B. Give me Shauna Bannon by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. Wee wee. Those are all the fights for UFC Paris. If you guys have made it this far again, thank you so much. Click that subscribe button. We are on the road to 400 subscribers, so your support will go a long way. Secondly, Patreon's free. Links in the description. That's where you can see all my bets when I place them. Bets video comes out on Wednesday, but you know I put my bets in before that, so check out the Patreon again. The link is in the description. It's free. That's where I put all of my bets out when I place them, so you can see the odds. You know, when they're good, right? The odds always sway in the opposite way. I'm usually ahead of the odds. There's a couple of outliers here and there, but again, we're usually ahead of the odds. They always sway in the opposite way. Okay, so get them in when they're good. Let's have a good week this week for UFC Paris. Young Pasty, out. Let's go.